Some people question the quality of the Premier League in terms of whether or not the best players in the world actually play in the Premier League or not. But you cannot question the drama that the Premier League offers. It is by far the most entertaining league in the world. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a title race today. Manchester City has done the impossible and defeated Chelsea to keep the gap at a mere 4 points between Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about yesterday. Today is Sunday. This just happened. Let's talk about yesterday. Tottenham played on Saturday and needed to win to cut the gap to 4 points. Bournemouth were the visiting team, and Tottenham quite easily defeated Bournemouth by a score of 4-0. It was an absolute masterclass performance against a decent team that had been doing okay lately in the league, but the gap between the two teams, the gap in quality and just talent and skill on the pitch was evident pretty much from the get-go. That's not to say Bournemouth didn't have their chances. Eddie Howe has them playing a certain way, and they play well. But it really wasn't anything too threatening from Bournemouth, and they really didn't pose a threat at all. It was a very exciting performance, in my opinion. Especially not just a win. Okay, so Tottenham now are undefeated at home all season long. Only lost twice. Only have drawn twice against Leicester early in the season and against Liverpool in like the first or second game of the season or something like that. But since then, have not lost at home in any competition at White Hart Lane. Let me be more specific. At White Hart Lane, in any competition, have kept clean sheets. Have really performed very well at home. Since the start of the new year, Tottenham are the best team in the league with the most points, the most goals for, the least goals against. And in fact, since Tottenham beat Chelsea, Tottenham have been the best team in the league. We have the best record. We have the best run. It was at that, I don't know if it was at that moment, the turn of the new year, or this last international break that really changed things, because the lead looked like it was too big. Chelsea's lead was too big, insurmountable, basically. But they've been dropping points. They've been dropping the points, and Tottenham have not dropped the points, and that has made a huge difference. The loss against Liverpool now hurts a lot more than it did at the time, because at the time I didn't think it was going to make a difference, but now, difference between 4-point gap, 1-point gap, that would be huge. In the end, is the gap too big? I think it still might be. They have a much easier run-in to the end of the season than Tottenham. Added to the fact that we have those 8 draws versus theirs. That's it. That's the difference right there. I think Chelsea win the league with that 13-game win streak at the beginning of the season. And coupled with our 8 draws, I mean, there's your difference right there. And I mean, as much as I hate them, I've said this in the past, a 13-game win streak is title worthy. So, I mean, you can't be mad at them for winning 13 games in a row. If they win it, they deserved it because of that run. Now, since that run ended, we have been the better team. And there's no question about that. We have been the better team since we ended their run. Since the turn of the new year, we have been the better team. But it's not going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be enough. But all you can do is win your games, right? And hope that they slip up. And so yesterday, Tottenham go in to uh, at home, White Hart Lane, hosting Bournemouth, and win their game handily, easily, and without any problems. Win the game. Now, even Vincent Janssen got a goal. Very happy for him. Very excited that he got his goal. I always want him to score because specifically him, I think it's unfair to come in and be second to Harry Kane. You know, you're the top goal scorer in your league at a very young age. You come in, obviously you're going to be behind Harry Kane. And then you get a few opportunities here and there, not very many. Kane gets hurt, so you get opportunities, but it's a brand new league. You're still a young kid. You know, I think the media has been very unfair to him, but you can tell the fans and his teammates really want him to do well. And it reminds me of the Roberto Soldado in business a few seasons ago. He's a fan favorite. Everyone loved him. He worked really hard. He just wasn't scoring the goals. It wasn't happening for him. I think the same thing is happening to Jansen. It's his first season, so it's not quite the same yet. But the fans love him. He works really hard. He always works hard off the ball. He always makes good runs. He holds up the play very well. He goes back and defends, It's not like he's Adebayor. He's not scoring not because he's lazy or isn't working hard. He's just not scoring because it's just not happening for him. But I think he scored 2 goals from open play and a few from penalty kicks, and I think it's slowly starting to come in. And I think you can tell the fans are happy, Pochettino's happy, his teammates are happy, he's happy. We need him to do well, and I think it's ridiculous that people are saying, well, he's a flop. He's a flop. No, he's not a flop. He's not a flop yet. You don't become a flop at that position after one season. As much as I loved him, Soldado was a flop. Unfortunately, he was. He played, 3 seasons? And then he wasn't doing it, so he had to go. And that's a shame. But he's not a flop yet. He still has time to get things going. So let's not call him a flop yet. Anyway, whatever the case, Tottenham win the game by a convincing scoreline as well. It could have been way more. If we look at the statistics, I mean, aside from the possession, the shots on target, some of them were really soft right at the keeper. I think they should have been more clinical. I think that's, what are you going to criticize in a 4-0 victory? But you had to be more clinical. I think a lot more people needed a goal. Like Dele Alli could have had a goal. Moussa Dembele scored a goal, so that was nice. But you got to be more clinical. I think when you have that many shots on goal and that much possession, it was just. 4-0 is fair considering the domination. But it should have been at least 6, I think, if they're being a little more clinical. But, you go out, you do the business, you win the game that you're supposed to win, and then boom. Next thing you know, you put a little pressure on Chelsea, and you just wait for them to screw up, I guess. And we're looking to see, if Chelsea are going to screw up. And then we see the lineup today. I was watching the Liverpool West Brom game today. And it was a boring one. But at the bottom of the screen, around the 75th minute in that game, you start seeing the Manchester United and Chelsea lineups. And I see the Manchester United lineup. And I'll be honest with you, I was mad. I was upset. I was like, what is Mourinho doing? What is this lineup? This is awful. First of all, I didn't think not playing Zlatan was as big of a deal as everyone else. I was more concerned at why is Rojo starting. I don't know if they had injuries. I don't follow Manchester United. But I didn't know if they had injuries or what. But I didn't think Rojo should have been starting. And Fellaini in the middle of the pitch? Really? Fellaini in the middle of the pitch? Those two decisions, in my opinion, when I saw that, my first thought was, Mourinho knows he can't beat Chelsea with his A team, with his very best team. He knows he can't. So he's going to play a weaker team so that when he loses, he can blame the players or blame like, oh, they were tired. We just played a game 2 days ago and now everyone's tired because Mourinho prefers his ego to not be hurt, and so he'll make the decisions. He was making excuses before the ball was even kicked because his ego is that important to him. Little did I know that he was making a fool out of all of us, wasn't he? Because that was not the case at all. It ended up that he actually did have a strategy. He wasn't coming out to screw around, as probably every single one of us thought. I'll be honest with you, I did not expect Manchester United to do anything but roll over today. And like I said, they proved me wrong. I have no problems admitting that. I was very pleased. But I had to say at the beginning, I was a doubter. I was seriously doubting if he had any idea what he was doing. But he comes out and he man marks Hazard with Herrera, and he, I don't know, Fellaini was winning balls in the midfield, and Rashford scored a goal, and Herrera got his goal, and they shut down Costa. They shut down Pedro. Pedro had a couple of dangerous runs. They shut down Hazard completely, and Conte was completely nullified. I mean, they did what they had to do. Granted, Chelsea played poorly, and they needed to play poorly if United were going to win. You know, I didn't expect it. I'll just say I was very pleased. They had me on my feet, and that, I hate Jose Mourinho. I hate him as a manager, as a person, and I hate Manchester United as an organization, as a club. I don't like them. I never wish them success. I hate them more than I hate Arsenal. But today, there's only one team I hate more than Manchester United, and that is Chelsea. And I haven't openly cheered for Manchester United or Mourinho in my life until this season. I cheered for them in the FA Cup quarterfinal, which unfortunately they ended up losing, and I was cheering for them today. But those are pretty much the only two times I've ever hoped Mourinho wins a game. I always want them to lose. I never want United to win. This season they haven't been really. I don't want to sound like a jerk right now, but they haven't been relevant. So I don't really care about them. I like it I think it's funny when they lose. I think it's funny that they're in sixth place and they just stay in sixth place perpetually. I mean, they're in fifth now, but whatever. But other than that, I really don't pay attention to them. I'll be honest with you. They don't matter. The only other time they're going to matter is when we play them at White Hart Lane at the end of the season. That'll be the last time they matter for this year. Like, they matter today and they'll matter then. And any other time in between and before, they didn't matter. So now that that's done, now that the job is done, they can go back, and I hope they lose every game from here on out. So thank you for doing your part, and whatever, done. But yeah, he outplayed, he outcoached Conte. I don't know, Chelsea have looked poor. They've looked poor of late, and I think this is the perfect time for them to go into a dip in form, because we have not dipped in form. We lost to Liverpool, and we haven't lost since, and we've been destroying teams of late. So I think the Swansea game was a very important one for us. 1-0 down the entire game. What was it, 87th minute? All of a sudden we win 3-1. That was an incredible statement game. Go out and just beat the team in front of you. How many times have I said this season? 4 years ago, 3 years ago, we're down 1-0 and at Swansea, we lose that game. We lose it easily. We lose it 2-0 probably. This is a different Tottenham team. Pochettino has changed the mentality of the club. These are different players. They're not the same. it's incredible to watch the transformation. It's incredible to watch the transformation. Do I think it's going to be enough? I don't think so. As I said already, I think they have too big of a lead. They won the league during that 13-game win streak, and unless they really botch it up, they're not going to lose this league. There aren't enough games for them to lose. Not enough tough games. This was the last hard game they have. What, they play away at Everton and I think away at West Brom, and that's it? I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough. On the other hand, we host United and Arsenal. Those are going to be tough games. Those are going to be way more difficult than Everton and West Brom, even if they are away. Although you never know. Like the way they're playing, like honestly, we don't know what's going to happen. So I guess it's still up for grabs. It's only 4 points. Anything can happen. That's 2 games only. That's 2 games. All they have to do, we win 2 games, and then they lose and draw 1. And then all of a sudden, it's game on. But you never know. You never know. But we have to win out. We have to win out. And it's going to be really difficult. I mean, it's incredibly difficult to win out. But let's go ahead and take a look at the remaining schedule for Chelsea. So aside from, as I said, they're going away to Everton April 30, and they're going away to West Brom May 12th. And that's it. I mean, Watford may give them a little bit of trouble. I doubt it. Southampton may give them a little bit of trouble. I doubt it. Sunderland's definitely not going to. Middlesbrough isn't going to. And, that's it. Obviously, the other very important thing to keep an eye on is next weekend, the semifinal of the FA Cup, Chelsea hosting Tottenham, FA Cup semifinal. What a game that's going to be. I think that's going to be an incredible game. I think obviously the best 2 teams in the league. Is it going to make a difference? I mean, if we beat them, does that change? I mean, obviously that's a different competition, and who knows if they're going to play their best players? Who knows if we're going to play our best players? But if we beat them, could that be like a sign of what's going to happen? I mean, if we beat them, can we go on a run and they just be so demoralized that they lose it? Or on the other hand, if they beat us, could that just spur them on? Not to actually use the word spur in a negative context, but could that just be the catalyst they need to win the league? I don't know. It's very dangerous, and it has me a little worried. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little worried about that game. I really want to win the FA Cup. If we don't win the league, I would love to win the FA Cup. I think to win a championship in his 3rd season at Tottenham would be fantastic for Pochettino. And let's look at our remaining schedule. So we go to Leicester. Who knows how that game's going to end up? Are they going to be tough? I don't know. I don't know what to think of Leicester. I think it could be a tricky game. Oh, I'm sorry. That one's been postponed. I'm not even paying attention. So we go to Crystal Palace instead. They beat Chelsea recently. So, I mean, are they going to be tough? Sure. I think they're going to be a tough team to play. And again, it all depends what happens in that semifinal. If we beat them, we go into that Crystal Palace game full of confidence, another London derby, and I think we can, brush them aside. Then we host Arsenal, and that's the big one. Assuming they win tomorrow, and we beat Crystal Palace, and they, whatever game they have, because I think they play, who do they play? I think they play Liverpool in the other semi. Right? They're still in it, right? It's Liverpool, Arsenal? I think so. So, assuming they win their games up to that point, and assuming we win our games up to that point, if we beat them at home at White Hart Lane on the 30th of April, they will effectively uh, will not finish above us in the table, and that will be the mathematical, the, our version of St. Totteringham's Day. All right. Um, does it matter? Of course it matters. They're the people who have made up this made up day to celebrate when it's mathematically impossible for us to finish above them. Okay. A lot you go online and a lot of Arsenal fans will say we don't care. We don't care if we finish above you. That's inconsequential. Except they made up a day to celebrate. So obviously they do care, and it hurts them very much. It hurts them very much. At 17 points as of today, it's incredibly difficult to imagine them catching us, especially the way they've been playing. Is it possible? Of course. It wasn't possible last season, and it happened anyway. So of course it's still possible. As long as the math is still possible, it's possible. Is it likely? No. No, it isn't. And honestly, I would love for them to come in to White Hart Lane and us beating them solidly. And also, it would be great if it also knocked them out of the top four race and made it mathematically impossible for them to finish above us. If all of those things happen, like the trifecta, beating them solidly, they don't get top four, they don't finish above us, I think that would be the sweetest ending to the season ever for them, to come to White Hart Lane for the last time ever, and that happened to them. I think that would be absolutely glorious. But with that win, we would have one more tough game against Manchester United at home. And if we win those two games, we'd go undefeated for an entire season for the first time ever, I think. Definitely, maybe ever, which would be an incredible achievement. But those are the two toughest games, and they're not going to be easy. I don't think we're going to brush Arsenal aside, and I don't think we're going to brush Manchester United aside. They're very good at tying games, so, and we saw what they did today. Sometimes Mourinho gets the tactics right. You never know what's going to happen. Anything can happen in those two games. And honestly, I think the Leicester City game could be tricky, and I think the West Ham game could be tricky, especially if they're in a relegation battle. They're terrible at home, but if they're desperate, they could come out. And everyone knows that West Ham has it out for Spurs for some reason. They just, for some reason, they really hate us, more so than they should, because we don't care about them. Like in my head, they're not. Crystal Palace, okay. Queens Park Rangers, I don't care. Fulham, nobody cares. West Ham, I don't care. You know what I mean? But they really care, and it makes me, the way they've been playing over against us over the last, I've been a fan since what? I don't remember, 2005, 2006, and just seeing the way they take the rivalry really makes me not like them, because who are you? Nobody. You're a nobody. Go away, West Ham. Nobody cares about you and your stupid stadium, stupid fans, and stupid club. That being said, that could be a tricky one. And again, Leicester, you never know. I don't know what to expect from them. I don't know what to expect from Leicester City. So you look at our schedule and you look at Chelsea's schedule, and it's basically the opposite. They have 2 away games. We have 2 home games. The cards are stacked against us to win this league. It's their league to lose. It's their championship to give up. But it could happen. Do we win every single one of our next games? I don't know. I could see us drawing at least 2 or 3 of them. That means that they're going to have to lose games, multiple games, and I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening, but you never know. But more than that, as far as I'm concerned, they've already won the league. As close as this race is now, again, and entertaining and good, makes for good viewing. I think the league is still over. I think it's been over for months. It's there's talking points now, so fine. But I think the league is over. That being said, I would really, really love us to win the FA Cup. I think that would make for a really good season. I think finishing above Arsenal, finishing second place, and winning the FA Cup would be a very, very good season. Um, yeah, that's that. I would love that to be the end of our year, to win the FA Cup, to finish above Arsenal, and to finish second place. Maybe undefeated at home. Maybe if we draw those two last games, but still undefeated at home, above Arsenal, win the FA Cup. I think that would be a fantastic campaign. So who knows what's going to happen? I don't know if that's going to be the case, but yeah, this is how the table looks right now. As you can see, Man United 2 games in hand. Assuming they win both games, they'd be at 66 points. That's still pretty far away from us. But they would be in fourth if, assuming they win both of those games. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting finish. Look at that goal differential for us. Look at that goal differential. That is very, very impressive. But those 8 draws are going to end up being our downfall. It's going to end up being our downfall. But we have the goals for, we have the goals against, we have the best record in terms of from the turn of the year. But those 8 draws and Chelsea's win streak at the beginning of the season is going to be the difference. But anyway, that is that. Incredible finish to the season, and we'll see what happens next weekend in that FA Cup semi-final. And hopefully Tottenham win it and win the league. That would be the perfect ending to the season. But we'll see how that goes. All right, guys.